Hey, photo sharing discussion number 226. Hope everybody's doing well. Sunday, what is this? March 11th, Spring Forward Day. Hope everybody has adjusted their clocks accordingly. It's always a bit of a challenge to adapt, I guess, to this spring forward and fall back, at least for those of us in time zones that do that. So we lost an hour of sleep last night in order to gain an extra hour of daylight between now and November, I guess, however that works. So if you're wondering what time it is, it's now 1 hour later today than it was yesterday at the same time. So I guess we're officially in spring now. When does spring start? March 20th? March 21st is the first day of spring, I guess. So we're almost there. I know things here in Atlanta are, we're getting into serious pollen season right now. The pine trees haven't done their pollen deal, but we've had some of the pear trees and some of the early blooming stuff is already done. Bloomed, fallen off, leaves coming on the trees. The daffodils in our yard have come up, bloomed, and unbloomed at this point. So yeah, we're going to be in serious pollen season here for the next few weeks. So it was a little, maybe a week or so earlier this year, it seemed like, than previous years. But yeah, we're definitely here. Spring is here. For those of you up in the north, it might be a little while still until spring finally gets here. And for you guys out on the other side of the big pond, I think you guys are getting into that mode as well. So spring is here, which means maybe photography activity will increase here sooner rather than later. I haven't done really any photography really this year other than developing some images from last fall. So, but I'm hoping that'll change. I've been just crazy busy with the business and kind of revamping things. I redid the website. It's up and completely different now. I moved it from Squarespace to WordPress hosted, which was good. I've been meaning to do that for a while. Frankly, I don't know why I started with Squarespace, other than it was easy to get up and go on. But within a couple months of doing things on Squarespace, I realized I was missing some functions that I'd like to have in WordPress. So I made the switch. Got done kind of redesigning the site, redoing it here in the last week or so. But now I've got to integrate that in with some other features that I've been meaning to add to the website for the company here for a while. So been knee deep in that the last couple of weeks, especially when you consider just the ongoing business of financial planning that I'm working with clients and that type of stuff. So it's sucked up a lot of time, which is good. It's going to be a good result in the long run. Short term, it always is a little painful, but that's getting pretty much done. I'm hoping this week to kind of get everything finalized on that. So hopefully I can get out with the camera here, especially now with the change in time. So I have some opportunity to get out and do some stuff. Hopefully, even during the week, if I can fit a couple hours in here or there. To get some photography in. So that's what I'm hoping for. So hopefully I can pick that up and get the camera, get back behind the camera under the dark cloth for the large format side of things, and start making some images. Let me check. I'm gonna check the YouTube thing. Hopefully everybody's able to get in if they're wanting to. Let me go ahead and get that and move the YouTube over to the other monitor so I can actually see. There's been a few images posted, looks like, in the group. So hopefully we can get some more. Go ahead and mute myself. There we go. So hopefully we can get a couple more here added for next week. There's been a few here. And so we'll talk about that a little bit. But I haven't done any real photography in the last few weeks, but I'm still really upping the search for the wide angle lens that I've been talking about for the last year, pretty much ever since I got the large format camera. But finally got the taxes done last week. I'm going to be getting back a little bit on the refund, and I got all that confirmed, and kind of took a look at the budget, and had been saving some money for this wide angle lens for the Chamonix camera. So I think I'm getting close. I've got the Save Searches and eBay that I've kind of been looking at off and on for the last few months, but I've really started paying attention to here this last week. And there's some good ones. There's always seems to be a decent selection of lenses for 90 millimeter in particular is the one I'm looking for. And there's some good lenses out there. I've got to refresh my my knowledge of the particular brands and the differences as far as there's the Nichromat, which is the one I have for my 135 millimeter lens, is a Nichromat, but the other three big ones are going to be Schneider, Rodenstock, and I think Fujinon. So I've got to take a look at that and decide how much I want to spend, and angle of view and all that fun stuff. But it looks like if I can get the Nikon, the Nikkor 90 millimeter, looks to be a pretty good option. It's a little bit larger filter. That's the thing. I want to try to, if I could, keep the same size filter, but I don't know if that's gonna really happen. But there's the Nikon, what is it? I'm gonna take a look. I've got a list pulled up on the other monitor here. The ones I think I'm looking at in the 90 millimeter are going to be the Schneider. I want to say it's the Super Angulon XL. And what size filter does it use? I think it's a little bigger. Oh, I'm not using that one because a 95 millimeter filter size, which would be that the filter would cost almost as much as the lens. But it is, I think it's the what am I looking at here? The Nikkor SW, which is they have an f4.5, which is probably way too much. I know it's expensive, and the f8, which is probably perfectly fine. The filter size on that is 67 millimeters. The 135 lens is a what is that? Nikkor W. That's a 52 millimeter, and there's very few 90 millimeter lenses with that size. I don't think there are any. Really, the smallest filter size is going to be a 67 millimeter filter. So I'm going to have to buy a couple of new filters for the lens, which, I guess it is what it is. Hey, Joe.
Hey, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm just rambling on about my lens search, my wide angle lens. And was just getting to the point where I was going to admit that I wanted to keep everything one filter size, but that's not going to happen. That's the
I have to get used to you starting earlier now.
Yeah, that's right. You got that hour. It's the spring forward. So it's actually now you're only 3 hours behind now. It's now is what, 3:15, right?
It's 3. Yeah, well, 3:12. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. Okay, so now you're 3 hours behind us until November, I guess. Yeah, till we get in there. So yeah, and you didn't change,
right? So you're 3 hours ahead now.
Yes, instead of 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I guess we're locked in here until November, I guess, is when the November 15th or 1st or 2nd week of November. Hey, it looks like Rui is on the line. Hey, Rui. Maybe? Or it is now 11 o'clock? Hey, Rui, how you doing?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay. You're only 4 hours ahead of us now. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. It fits in a little bit better with your work schedule, with the show starting a little earlier for you now. So that's good. Glad you could pop in. So how you been?
Good. Been writing a lot.
Yep.
not doing anything photo related.
Yeah, you're kind of like me.
Unfortunately.
I haven't done much photography related stuff either. But yeah, you have been busy. You've been doing a lot of fair amount of riding. You keep posting on Strava, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not riding quite as much as you were at the end of the in January. You've slowed down a little bit, but you're still
I
riding.
slowed down a lot in January.
Yeah.
December was the big month.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did like 500 miles in a week or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was a challenge.
That's all you did for the month was pedal, pretty much, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
That takes a lot of time.
December also. So
Yeah.
A lot of sun.
Yeah. That's good though. Yeah, if you have the time to do it, it's because riding, it just takes a lot of time. I mean, if you're doing 500, was it a 500K challenge? What was the challenge?
Yeah, 500K in a week.
Okay, yeah, so that's 300 miles in a week. That's a lot of riding. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Damn.
Yeah, that's like 20 hours of riding, pretty much, probably at an average speed.
Probably.
It's like a part-time job.
Yeah.
So, well, good. Well,
it was a full day job on the first day. I did 200K on the first day.
Oh, that's right.
I started a little late.
Yeah.
And that was a full day.
Yeah, I was gonna say 200. Yeah, that's 120 miles. Yeah, that's a long. Yeah, that's a lot of time. You were probably a little sore from that, just from sitting in the saddle for that long.
Yeah.
That was when I was riding a lot. That was always the thing was once it seemed like if you were riding for more than about 3 or 4 hours, then the saddle issues started to come into play. Just sitting on the saddle.
That's about right.
Yeah. It became for me. It was like 4 hours. If I was riding for more than 4 hours or so, you started noticing it, and it wasn't. And then you get to 6 hours, and then it really gets bad, and then it would go away for a while and then come back. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh man. Wow. Yeah, that just doesn't seem good at all for anybody. Right there. Yeah.
It's one of those things. A bike saddle is it's narrow. It has to be to help pedaling, and it's actually better in the long run for comfort wise. You would just die if you had like a regular wide saddle like you did on the bike when you were a kid. If you had that on a road bike or a mountain bike and you're trying to ride a long way, it'd be even worse. It'd be even worse. But it just starts digging in your muscles, and they just get tired, especially if you're pedaling a lot uphill. For me especially, you just got me because you're putting a lot of force on using those muscles, and the narrow seat. Yeah, it's not pretty unpleasant. But well, good. So you've been cutting back a little bit. Work going good for you?
Yeah, working a lot.
Okay, good.
It's going great.
Good. Charlie doing well?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Yeah. No.
He's already waiting to go for this race well.
Yeah. Pam was asking about Charlie. She goes, "Yeah, how's Charlie doing?" I'm like, "I guess he's doing fine." He keeps So, so I was just so you haven't done anything photographically. Are you gonna try to get out with the camera at all here coming up?
Yeah, I'll try more. Even using my phone more often on the rides.
Yeah.
So
You've been
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, it's just been more ride oriented and that type of stuff, which is you've got some great scenery where you ride. So I mean, it's a very
I do, and it's my fault because I don't stop as much and take a few photos that I should. But
yeah, I was the same way. You get riding and you kind of get in that mode where you just want to keep going. You don't want to stop. You just want to keep riding. And,
once you get any sort of workout going, you get a good flow. You don't want to ruin that flow. Stopping is that's anti-workout right there, isn't it? I mean, that's
resting is one thing.
What was that?
Yeah, if you see I say that resting is one thing and stopping is another one, completely different.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, you have to stop, especially if it's a long ride. You got to stop and refill your water bottles or get something to eat. But that's only a couple minutes. It's different than than stopping and wandering around and taking pictures or whatever. So it's you don't want to. The longer you stop, your average speed drops. So you always you're tied to that computer, that ride computer that tells you how fast you're going and how far you've gone, and you got to keep that average speed up. You kind of get in that habit.
Yeah, that's the key to all working out right there, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not even really. I don't know. For me, it was I was still going to get a great workout, but I just got you kind of get just. Then the numbers start controlling you, and you're like, I can't drop my average speed. I gotta get 17.2 miles an hour. If I drop below that, then I'm a failure as a cyclist. I gotta make. It's like no, if we gotta stop, it's only long enough to take a piss, and then we gotta keep going because you can't, you can't have that average speed drop.
So it depends on the ride, though.
Yeah, it does. Who you're riding with and that type of thing.
Yeah,
I found oftentimes, especially if I was riding with a group of other cyclists that were kind of serious about cycling, it was you just rode as much as you could without stopping, because you don't want to have the computer give you a lower average speed. So it's tough, but yeah, I'm glad you could pop in here. I was just talking before you guys popped in about looking at my search for that 90mm lens for my camera, and making the realization that I'm going to have to buy a different size filter. And I should have, when I bought my original lens, my 135 with the camera last year, I guess. Well, no, that was the thing. I couldn't really. For that size lens, for that 135mm lens, most of the filter size are like 52 or 49. And for the 90mm lens, a wide angle lens, the very few are almost none are 52mm. They're all like 67 and up, 67 or 82. And so it's not only the lens, but now you got to carry on, 2 sets of filters, which is kind of a pain. Although you don't, with the large format camera, you don't switch lenses that, it's not like it's going to take you a couple minutes anyway. So I guess another 15 seconds.
I mean, come on, what is it?
Isn't going to make that big a difference. It's not like with a digital camera, where you've got the ability to, switch lenses pretty fast and shoot pretty consistently, because there's so much time involved setting up the shot and focusing and all that. But it's just, I
leave my filters. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible with large format, but I just leave my filters on the lens. And then, and then when I don't need that filter, I take it off. And, I always have a pocket tee as well, so I just put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
So when the few times that I've shot without a pocket tee, I'm like lost, man. I can't even tell you, because I'm so used to putting my lens cap or my filter in that pocket. That's what I use that pocket for.
Yeah.
When I'm shooting. So it's a real quick thing for me. I'm like, whoop, boop, and it's, I don't have to move. I can just, it's in my pocket,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing with the film is I have a polarizer that I've used sometimes, but for, the color filters for black and white, it's like the orange and the yellow filter and that type of thing. You don't need that for color film, but you would use a polarizer. So you just gotta switch those around. It'd be nice to have just one. I mean, I got a decent set of yellow and I got a yellow and orange. I think I just bought a yellow and an orange filter because that's the primary ones you would use for the 135. And they were, I don't know, what were they? I got them for like $15 each or $20 each. So not too bad, but I'm gonna have to buy another set of those. I'm gonna have to buy another 2 of those and a polarizer. I mean, I already had a polarizer for my digital because the filter size, thread size was the same, 52mm. So I had that set, but I'm gonna have to buy a polarizer and it's probably a 67 millimeter filter, and then the orange and the yellow. So that's it's another $75 probably, or $80 in filters on top of the lens. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get try to get the lens if I can find a good one on eBay. I think I'm gonna try to get it ordered in the next week or two, and so hopefully I'll have it for April. That's my goal. Now that I know I'm getting a little bit of money back from Uncle Sam, and the money I've been saving is close, so I can get make the lens purchase without going out of pocket any more than I was planning on. So that's good. So, how about you, Joe? Any equipment purchase? Any photography in the last week? Have you done anything?
None whatsoever. Just saving money, man. You're trying to,
Yeah.
I still have a couple of strobes in my cart on Amazon.
Okay. All right.
Trying to debate, whether I should go ahead and pull the trigger on that, but I still haven't done my taxes yet either. That's another major thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I concentrated on that last week and I got that done, but yeah, I got back a little bit about what I thought. But so how long have you had that stuff in your cart, Joe? How long have those strobes been sitting in your cart?
A long time.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll put something in that cart. I've told you my theory before.
Mm-hmm.
What I do, I'll put something in there, and then I like to watch the price, go down a little bit, and sometimes it goes back up, and it'll fluctuate a lot. So when it gets down there enough, then you're just like, oh man, I got to pull the trigger on that, man. That's the lowest I've seen it in, forever. So there's these strobes that went down to $2.99 a piece. I think they're 400 watts, which is a decent power.
They're pretty good power. Okay.
All completely wireless. A lot of the new strobes they're just all completely wireless, and pretty much, the majority of them are battery operated now.
Okay. All right. But
the batteries last for quite a few, pictures, quite a few images, so,
okay.
Still thinking about it. I don't know why. I know I need them. I need
even at $2.99, if you buy two of them, that's $600. I mean, that's
it's not chump change, right? But it's still compared to what those total wireless like one, real professional series strobe will, cost you, 12 or even 1,200 to even $2,000, so it's like
that's more than a lens almost. Yeah, I mean that's like in the range of a good quality lens. Yeah, that's a lot of money for a flashlight. I mean, just get somebody with a bright LED flashlight.
I mean, come on, what the hell, So yeah, it's the reason why a lot of guys will try continuous light just because it's so much cheaper. It's night and day difference.
Mm-hmm.
But to tell you the truth, and some of them, you can get a lot of success with continuous LED lights. LEDs get pretty darn bright. You put enough continuous light on somebody, on your subject, and you can get where you need to be. It's especially you mix the power that you can get out of an LED now, and continuous, mixed with the low light capability of our new cameras, and you got a pretty decent combination that you can get some pretty useful stuff out of. But it still helps to have the power of that strobe, and you have to get, in order to get that super close-up detail, you have to have that strobe.
So you get a strobe, it's what, 400 watts. So I mean, yeah, that's going to give you a lot. And so how much?
400 watts is perfect for indoors. You can get by outdoors. You're just not going to get too terribly far from your subject with 400 watts.
Okay. All right.
Once you get outdoors, you need a lot of power.
Yeah.
But some of these new strobes, there again, man, these engineers have been doing some amazing stuff with light. I mean, look at the lights that come on your car now. I mean, they, you know, the light that comes on these new cars are super bright with low wattage. So they're doing this, you know, exactly the same thing with the strobes. I mean, you know, there's some of those other, I forget the name brand. Some of those other strobes they've been coming out with, and they're like $600 to $700. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
400 to 500 watts. I think maybe 600 watts, and they're putting out some serious power.
Yeah.
So,
well, how 400 watts? What's kind of the indoor range away from the subject? What does that buy? 6 feet, 8 feet?
Oh yeah, you could easily do that. Yeah,
okay.
Depending on what you're doing, yeah, you easily. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, 400 watts indoors is, you can do whatever you want. You know.
Okay. All right.
Indoors, yeah, you can.
So it's not like you're missing out that much.
No.
That's plenty of power for indoors, but what you're saying is going to be, it could be an issue if you're going outdoors.
Yeah. Depending on what you're doing outdoors, for most of the, that's why I wouldn't mind doing it, because for the stuff that I would shoot, 400 watts, I could still get by. You know, even if I had to go full power, I could still get by. With some of the soft boxes and stuff that I use, umbrellas, I can still get by. You know, 6 feet away from my subject. You know, even 8 feet away. It just depends on what I'm doing. You know.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I like to shoot kind of close anyway. So it's.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, but even at, but like you said, even at that good price, when it's still $600, it's still a lot.
For a couple of them, but it's not. I don't know. Once you get used to certain things, you know, you're like, man, $300 is so cheap. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
It is all relative, I guess.
But it's to me, because to me it's just cheap. You know, that's very inexpensive. I'm just waiting to see if it goes a little lower, or waiting for a couple other things to. Well, mainly, like I told you, my truck's in the shop, so the sticker shock of paying for this mechanic bill is this service bill is
makes the strobe look cheap.
Really, man. I mean, I could have got a couple of 3-4 strobes, you know, another camera body, for Christ's sake. Like, it's like, oh my God, you guys are killing me.
Cars have a way of car repairs have a way of sucking down the bank account pretty quickly. It seems like, oh man, well, that's I mean, photography equipment's expensive. I mean, even cheap photography equipment still costs some money. I mean, it's you know, we were talking about that last week or the week before. It's just, you know, the hobby, any hobby, but I mean, you know, photography is one of those things where you can easily spend a lot of money.
Oh, I mean, and then, like I said, you know, if you're just into, it depends how deep you want to get into it. You know, once you start, let's say you're doing landscape, but now you want to start doing certain landscapes at night. Okay, now you're going to start getting into strobes, and now you know what I'm saying? Now you're going to get into either speed lights or strobes or both, or continuous light. But that just adds another layer of expense to your already expensive hobby, you know? And then if you're like Rui and you're cycling and everything on top of that, well, now you've got, you know, one super expensive hobby mixed with another super expensive hobby, and you're just broke all the time. You're just like broke.
As long as you can live on your bike and underneath the umbrella for your strobe with your camera, you're fine.
You just buy a big enough softbox for a tent, and that's it. Yeah.
There you go.
Know? I mean, what's the problem here? You know, you use the modeling light for your light. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. These strobes have a lot of helmet. Oh, Mark, these lights are getting so technical. Like, you can fire multiple powers of light within the same flash. Like, it's insane.
Huh.
It's crazy. I have no idea actually what some of these uses of, say, some of the capabilities of the light they're coming up with now. I don't know what you do with it, but
how does that? Yeah, does all that neat stuff, but how do you actually apply it in photography?
Right. I don't see anybody. I don't personally see anybody using it, but they can do it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is insane. But like even before, you'd get a strobe and you had your modeling light, which is like a constant light that's already on the strobe. And now those have different power wattages now, that's very useful. I can see that. But yeah, that feature where, and you already have that on your speed light where you have like a multiple flash situation. You have like the first fire and the second fire, but now you have like these multiple fires in there. Maybe it's for when you're doing longer exposures, maybe, and you still need a flash in there. Some light.
You could have the pre-flash that would, like the red eye stuff. I mean, that you could do that, and then I don't know. I mean, multiple exposures. I mean, so if you're doing like multiple shots, I don't know. Lighting is one of those things that I didn't really have an interest in it, and so I haven't really dug into it yet because I'm not really interested in doing studio type work for the most part. So I'm as long as that big light in the sky's there, I'm usually okay.
Yeah, right.
And it's got plenty of watts. It's got plenty of watts.
It's got hopefully enough wattage, and then you've got the big diffuser, those those white things that go around and move, block the sun sometimes, and everything works out.
Yeah, it usually works out. Sometimes you get a giant softbox, and other times it's more like a point source. Sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, it's a beautiful thing, right?
Now, if that starts strobing, if that light in the sky starts strobing, then it's time to just have a drink and enjoy the end of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you start getting all these different strobe effects and stuff, then you're like, whoa, what's happening?
Photography isn't going to matter.
We got other issues happening here.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary that I hadn't seen before. It's from 2006, and it was on Amazon. And what was it called? The Falling Man or something like that. It was. Let's see if I can find it. I just watched it Friday night.
Okay.
And it was about 9/11.
Okay.
And apparently there is this one photo. I never seen it.
Okay.
But there was this one photo that was taken during 9/11 with people that were jumping, right, to save their life. And there was this
fire or whatever.
Yeah. It just in the description of what was happening inside the building, and now they actually kind of know a lot of facts. Mm-hmm. Or, even then, 2006, they knew a lot more facts than they did at 2001. Mm-hmm. And man, the description, and then they were really zooming in close on a lot of the photography that was happening at the time.
Okay.
And showing the people piling in the windows. That photography just sent chills through you, man. It just. Oh
yeah. Yeah.
It just made you think, in the images of these people falling.
Yeah.
It made me cry. Yeah, I have.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that is you see that, and there's just no way around that. I mean that's almost the most tragic thing of the whole thing, Yeah. I mean, you just seeing people. I mean but it was captured. So the whole document was talking about the photography around that.
Photography, yeah. So it's some of these documentaries that are based on particular photos of something, of an event, but it's based on the photography from that event, are really, really moving. Because some of these photojournalists have, by pure accident, really, captured a photo that you just stare at, and it just makes you feel. It makes you feel something.
Yeah.
It's I think that is, as that photographer, I kept, watching the documentary and thinking of what it's got to be like to be in his shoes, to actually have an image that in that world a lot of people know, or that people even like myself can see right now, and it just moves you. You know what I'm saying? You immediately feel something.
Yeah,
like
that's and there's a few. I mean, that's one of the that whatever the picture I have is probably the one that they reference. The person was falling and that type of thing. I mean, that's one of them. The other one is the one from the Vietnam War, that the execution. Remember that one? Remember that one? That guy where he was. I mean, literally, it was you got the image right as the bullet was going through the guy's head.
Yeah, they referenced that image.
Okay. Yeah.
They showed that image, as like, specific photos that just captured something in those moments in the last seconds of someone's life.
Yeah. Or that girl that had the the little girl that it was in Vietnam. It was another image from the Vietnam War where she was burning. She had napalm on her or something, and she was running down the street naked on fire, essentially. I mean, just those kind of things that are so you can't plan that. It's just being in the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the right time. It's just one of those things that, and to have the wherewithal to because some of those you can kind of see what's going to happen, and to have the wherewithal to compose yourself and do what you need to do to document what's is going to happen, or to see something terrible and then to lift up the camera and actually do your best to capture it. I mean, it's just got to be.
Here it is. I'll share the screen with you if you'll allow me to. It's
go ahead.
It just, because it's definitely photography related. I love those kind of documentaries.
Yeah. Okay. The Fallen Man. Okay. So it was like an hour and a half documentary.
Yeah, hour and 11 minutes. But that's the image on the front right there, and it almost looks so graceful, the image, because the lines of the building are just straight up and down, and he's straight up and down. And it just, I don't know, that they really go into it. You know what I'm saying? And it was a pretty damn good documentary. And of course, 9/11 is something that's big to this country. But it's also a trip when you how do I stop this now? There it goes. It's also a trip to see some of the images of people that were watching. And nowadays, if that sort of event would be now, it'd be people with their phones up. When they were showing the images of people standing in New York City, it's people standing there looking, and their mouths are hanging, and they're feeling stuff. And a lot of people were supporting each other. Now it would just be people standing there by themselves with their phones up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's completely different. And you wonder, would it make the same impact on those people today than it did, 17 years ago, because of having that device in between, you and what's happening. I just don't. Because they're not photographer. They're not doing it because they're a photographer. That's just what people do now. I've got to show that I saw this.
Right.
It's like when you go to a concert and everybody's got their phone and they're watching the concert through their phone. It's like, you're right there.
Enjoy it, man.
Yeah, put the phone down and
live it.
You don't have to share that. Just enjoy the experience.
Well, it's kind of like leading up to you going to the eclipse, right? And you were talking about. We were all putting in our suggestions. Of course, I wasn't going to see it like you saw it. But there was a certain part of it where it's like, okay, I can only document this so much.
Yeah.
And it's going to be documented by millions of people So you just got to a point where it's like, let me just enjoy this. Let me put down the gear and just enjoy this.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I mean, I got it to the point where I knew that when it was in totality that I wouldn't have to touch the camera, and it would move across the frame. And then then we watched it, and I just had the remote release that I would push every once in a while. I mean, so I was actually watching it, and instead of fiddling around with the camera, and there was some lady next to me that spent most of the time fiddling around with her camera instead of actually seeing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is one of those things that you just have to see.
The photographer, he actually talked about it too. And it's exactly the same experience that I have when I'm, photographing in the street or doing something like that. You just don't feel connected. Like you feel once removed from it. And when I'm shooting like that, I feel like I can do anything. Like I don't feel like I would almost be afraid if I were in an environment where there was a lot of shooting or something going on, because as long as I got the camera, I feel like bullets couldn't hit me or something. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, no, you hear about war photographers, people that are on in like Vietnam War or any photographer, and they say that that I have the camera as my job to do this, and people say, well, weren't you ever afraid? And it's like, no, I never thought about that.
Right. You just,
even though they're just out there with a Nikon and and a helmet. I mean, they have no. I mean, they're just totally exposed. They have no way of defending themselves. But yet people would say, yeah, I have the camera, and that's what I needed to do. So it's like this cloak of invulnerability or something that you put on.
You just don't. You're so into just photographing that.
Yeah.
And he described it too. He was like, there was firemen grabbing their ladders or grabbing hoses or whatever, and policemen were doing what they do. And he goes, I grabbed my camera, that's what I do. So he's like, other people were just in awe of like what was happening. And he says, I grabbed my camera. Like it's just instinct,
So that's what he did. Yeah. That's what he saw as his natural response to something like that. And was he a documentary photographer? So, I mean, he put himself in situations where he was used to documenting that kind real life kind of stuff. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So it'd be different than, well, I don't know. Would it be different if you were like a landscape photographer and you had, it probably would be the same. You would just, I'm just trying to imagine if I were there at this point being a photographer and had my camera, which I have, anytime I'm going somewhere new, I always have a camera with some kind of camera with me.
Right.
Would I do the same thing? And I probably would.
Your ass. Yeah.
I probably would. Yeah, I probably would. You just, you don't know until it's there, but you just kind of think about, I mean, there's been plenty of times I've been out with the camera and I just see something and I want to shoot, and somebody else, Pam will be with me, and she'll be like, come on, we got to do this, or watch out for that. And I'm like totally, once I see something, it's like the switch flips and you're just doing what you do.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of interesting. You just wonder how you would, react in a situation. It's like people in their soldiers, going into battle for the combat for the first time. How do you react? And I just follow the person in front of me. That's my training. And you just go in and do it. So, yeah. So thanks for mentioning. I'm gonna add that to my list and watch that, because that's
it's if you already have a Prime account on Amazon, it's completely free, and it's a really good watch. It's a really moving watch. It really.
No, it sounds like it's well worth the time, and gives you a different perspective as a photographer. You probably took it in differently than somebody that is not a photographer.
Well, I mean, I actually took it in differently from when I first seen 9/11. Right? I mean, even as a photographer now, I mean that you're just comparing yourself. Okay, I still have some of these feelings, but now I am looking at it at this documentation of 9/11 as a photographer now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not just Joe Blow. You know.
Yeah. Joe the photographer instead of just Joe Blow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. Yeah, because it's it gives you a different perspective. You approach things differently. You view things differently than other people who aren't, you know, whatever it is that you're into when you're doing or participating or viewing or watching something that connects with that part of you. You know, like when I watch a bike race, like if you watch a bike race, you probably perceive it differently than me, who is a cyclist and actually did race bicycles. So I'm looking at it a little differently than you.
Right.
You know, I'm noticing different things that somebody else who isn't a bike rider wouldn't notice. You know, they would notice something else, and I wouldn't notice what they would notice. You know, so you take it in completely different. So that's the neat part or the fun part about it. You know, what we do changes our perspective on the world around us. So everybody's got a different point of view just based on who they are at that particular point in time.
Yeah, and a little bit of where they come from, like based on this this NASCAR race here that was in Phoenix just ended.
And who won, Joe? I know Dennis isn't here for his NASCAR update, but he'll probably watch the replay.
Yeah, he's going to watch the replay. He's going to want to know who won, and Kevin Harvick won.
And he won last week too.
I think did he win last week?
I don't know.
He might have won.
Maybe it was Wood Solis.
Maybe the Busch Series or something. You know.
Okay.
He might have won. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in any case, you know, the analysis of the race. You know, you've got one guy that was never a driver, never into NASCAR, other than covering NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Jeff Gordon, who was a champion NASCAR driver, and then you've got another much older champion NASCAR driver, and then another analyst on there, a fourth guy that is a champion, but from the pit crew side. You know, he was the pit crew chief. So, you know.
Yeah.
All these different perspectives, you know, to give you analysis on what their opinion is of that same event, you know.
Exactly, and they all have a different take on it. They pay attention to different things. The driver's going to pay attention to different things than the pit crew, you know, just because of their training and their experience. Yeah, it is interesting. That's why it's interesting when you any sport, any color commentator. It just what their involvement is with the activity of their sport is going to color how they perceive what's going on. You know, like I was watching golf tournament, and they've got Bones, the guy who is the caddy for Phil Mickelson. He's like one of the on-course guys, and he has a completely different take on what's going through the golfer's mind and the caddy's mind than just guy who has always been a golf commentator, but he's never been a caddy. You know, so just completely different take on things. So it's kind of, and it's the same thing. Yeah, photography, any activity you pursue. Yeah, whatever your background is, and your and that whatever that is, you have biases one way or the other.
Yeah,
good or bad. You just perceive things differently. You view the world differently. So.
And then in an event like 9/11, it's already been how many years? So, you know, you were much younger then, so you had a different outlook on everything then. So you've got that perspective as well. So there's certain things that even then you were just numb to because you didn't even have that awareness. You were ignorant of certain things. So you know,
it's kind of like when you go back and you look at images you made a few years ago that you didn't think were good then, or you thought were bad or were good, and then you look at them later and your life's changed, you've experienced different things, so that those images are, you know, you look at them differently,
right?
You know, it's the same thing. Yeah. it's very interesting. Our minds are amazing things because it's all what we perceive. It's whatever it is, but everybody perceives it differently. So it's kind of interesting. So what is really happening? I guess everybody's got a different reality. Because however we perceive it is what's real to us.
Yeah, that's whatever the reality really was, the facts really are. Mm-hmm. Like it's still how you perceived it.
Yep.
So
exactly. It's like the classic thing. If somebody witnesses a crime or an event, and you ask, everybody's got a different. They're 100% certain that this is exactly what happened, based on what they saw and their background and their all the stuff that goes into it. And you can say no, this is what happened. Bob did this or that, but they're 100% sure that what they saw was the right way,
And it was really interesting also in that documentary how, and it was so true, because I was thinking in my head of what images I have in my mind right now of 9/11, and it's the wreckage, and it's to me the wreckage first. The images of the buildings burning and coming down, and then the images of the wreckage. And then images of firefighters helping people, and heroes, and those firefighters, those 3 firefighters raising that flag and things like that, and they have lots of people from the news media that were saying, they were actually self-censoring because, a large part of it was hundreds of people falling from the building. And that was the part that was left out. They didn't want to paint that picture of 9/11, and but that's also part of it, So
that's just as much a part as all the other stuff.
Yeah,
it's and it just, but like you said, they self-censor, and we all do. We all see the world the way we want to see it,
right?
For better or worse. And
is that really the reality? You know what I'm saying? So in reality, when you start seeing all these images, and I do remember it. I do remember watching the live broadcast, and then they would play the thuds, but they wouldn't show you the images of on camera. But you could hear the boom, boom, and they would tell you what it was, and you were horrified just by the sound, but they wouldn't show it.
Yeah.
So when you finally see the images of these people falling and what was happening, and the images of people piled in the windows, it's just moving.
You put everything together. Everything kind of comes together in your head, and you're like, ugh. Yeah.
You're just like, man, so. And it's very interesting because I get some people looking at my photography and telling me, well, you shoot all these beautiful women, and I'm like, well, don't get me wrong, they are beautiful, but you're seeing them the way I see them. You're seeing what I see. You're not seeing the actual reality, right? Like, I painted a picture for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, they've got, most of them have a good starting point, but at the end of the day, the final image is based on your interpretation of what you saw.
Right.
Or what you want other people to see.
Yeah, or focus on.
Focus. So the lighting, all that stuff. You can show the picture, the image, and then the person sitting right next to you. And they're similar, but they're not the same by any means at all.
That's,
but people see an image, and that's the reality. So.
The problem now is there's so much of that now, because there's so much photography, because photography's so big now. We're so used to seeing that kind of, what I say, quote, fake image, that that's what we expect. You know what I'm saying? So people they'll hear that a lot. This image was photoshopped or something, for example, or edited. And they don't necessarily know what that is, though. They don't necessarily understand. So that's why I like to post the before and after to show people. This is what I actually captured, and this is what it looks like after I've worked on it for 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? So.
And there's it's the same, but it's it's completely different than what the original was. So. Well, speaking of doctored images, I've got a few. It looks like Patrick's posted a couple fake car images to the group, and some fake food, I think, too. So we can take a look at this.
Oh, did he post the food pictures?
No, Michael did.
Michael did.
And Rui had, your video. Let's watch this, because this is what Rui needed to do. He needs to take a photo. Oh, you're taking a photo.
Yeah.
Taking the now what are you going to do when GoPro? It seems like they're going under. GoPro is not doing so good.
No, they're not.
There we go. There's the ocean, driving down along the ocean.
Yeah, I see him post on. I see him post on Instagram a lot.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. You're doing photography.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
Videography. Putting the music
motion pictures.
They still refer to them as photographers.
Yeah. Cool. You're taking the train back home at the end of the ride. Is that what it was?
Taking the train back to the starting point.
Okay. Yep. All right. Yeah, that's cool. Good stuff. It's a beautiful part of the world. I'd love to make it out there and ride a bike, share a bike ride with you, and I'll even eat snails. If we go to a favorite pub, I can let you buy me some snails.
When you do come, it's for snails. It's in the months without an R. So May, June, July, and August.
Okay, June, July, and August. Okay, snail season. You hear that, Joe? We need to go to Lisbon during snail season.
Oh man, I've got a horrible snail story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, apparently there was this story that came out about this guy that, and I heard it on the news podcast this past week, and it's a story from like 10 years ago, but apparently it's all part of the story. I guess I don't know, what was it? 10 years ago. So what was that? I don't know, 2010, 2009, whatever that was, 2008. This guy, it was with his buddies, and they daring each other, and so he dared them to eat this darn slug, right? This darn, Well, I forget where they were, and that's pretty relevant. I think they were in Florida or something like that. But in any case, the guy ate the snail, didn't realize it had a worm in it or something. That was like, it was some kind of like lottery type of chance of this happening, right? Like it doesn't happen that often. And even when you do eat one that has this particular kind of worm in it, that it still doesn't affect you this way. It's like a lottery sort of situation, but it happened to this guy. Well, it goes into like your brain, and it went into the part of his brain that left him like not only paralyzed, but in a coma for all these years. He was like in a coma for all these years, man. And I don't.
They found the worm and got it out. Is that what happened?
No, no. It like completely altered his life forever. Like that was it.
Yeah. Well, maybe I won't join you for snail.
And you know what's hilarious is anytime I hear
you won't need it raw. So.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear about snails, I think about Rui. I swear to God. So when they were telling this story, I'm thinking about him the whole time. I'm like, oh, I swear to God, I've never eaten one of those.
No, I think the secret is like, yeah, you cook them, but then you have them with Super Bach, and I think the Super Bach has a. If there's anything bad with the snails, the Super Bach kills it and makes it safe.
I think that's absolutely correct.
If one isn't enough, then you would have done.
Yeah. So you cook them, and then you have the Super Bach, and that double secret makes it good.
Yeah, because they like literally saw it crawling there, and then it was like one of those dares, you know, hey, I dare you to eat
Yeah,
that.
that's not a good idea.
And that's what happened. Yeah. So
about the only thing I've eaten on a dare is ants when I was a kid. You know, like those little ants that crawl around. You can put them on your finger and eat them. Yeah, but that was that was about the only thing I ate on a dare. It was ants, and you know, I guess
I've ate a clove of garlic.
A clove of garlic.
A couple times.
You got to eat the Pocky Chip Challenge. You got to do the Pocky Chip Challenge, Joe.
I've taken the garlic, a smaller one, but it was the bulb of garlic went loop in my mouth. Yeah, and ate it. Yeah. I've bitten a white onion like an apple.
Yeah.
Hunk.
Yeah.
Depending on the onion, they're actually very sweet.
Yeah, some onions are sweet.
Not those, I'll tell you right now.
Not that one.
And not garlic. Garlic's actually pretty darn hot when you buy it.
Yeah, garlic can be very, very, very spicy.
It's like a
roasted garlic is good, but raw garlic, yeah, you bite into that, it can be really hot. Yeah, it can be really, really hot.
Yeah, I don't recommend it.
No, okay. Joe's been there, done that. We don't need to do it again.
Yeah.
So this is Jose did Mission San Luis Raid of. Where is this?
It's one of the missions. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you visited any? Have you been to any of the missions, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. When you,
most of them?
Yeah, well, the ones in Southern California, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, because growing up, I don't know how they do it now, but growing up there when I was a kid, that was something your school did. You went on field trips to the missions. Okay. Yeah, it was a part of your, like, what do they call it, social studies and stuff. Mm-hmm. When you were in school, they would take you to as many missions as they could. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was part of learning about California history.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. How many are there?
I think there's 13, if I'm not mistaken.
13. Okay.
I think so.
In Southern California. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a few in Northern California too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Most of them are in far Southern California. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think so. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah. No, it's. I've seen pictures. We went to Southern California as a kid. We probably did go to one mission, whatever one. I'd have to ask my dad. I don't really remember that specifically, but it would be fun to visit now as a photographer. Man, that'd be fun to. It's kind of like going to the Pueblos in
21. It says.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there are 21 missions in the territory that were referred to as California.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, some neat architecture. I like how he's got the fountain in the front and the mission in the back. Nice.
Wow, I was off by a little bit. Damn.
21. Okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
But you got a lot of missions, and if you want to visit them all in a day, you need this car.
Yeah, right.
BAC Mono. That looks like a fun car. I wonder what the engine is in it.
That looks expensive.
Yeah, it looks very expensive.
I mean, that looks like a street legal race car right there, man.
Yeah, it's probably a nice turbocharged or mid-engine car, rear-engine car. Yeah, it's probably very expensive. With the 135 taken just last week in Phoenix, probably. Yeah, it looks like the Phoenix airport. He's done a lot of photographs. There we go.
Oh, it's a British supercar. That's what it says.
Oh, okay.
On Wikipedia.
Yeah, I wonder what the engine is. Does it say anything what the engine is in it?
Let's see. They've got 60 employees, founded in 2009.
Okay, so a new company. Yeah, that looks fast.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, there's a configurator here, and good luck.
Oh, okay. Build your own car, huh?
Yeah.
I'll take one.
These sort of companies that's the way they roll.
Yeah. Build it however, and they pick whatever you want and they put it together for you.
Yeah. You build it and they will come, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome car.
I said it's basically a Formula 3 car on the road.
Okay. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, it's expensive. I was watching. There's a thing on. Was it Netflix? I think it is. No, it's on Amazon called F1 Driver.
Yeah.
Just take a look at that. Have you seen that? It's like 6 episodes.
Are you kidding me?
F1 team a couple years ago.
Of course I've seen it in it because it's in that. What is it like? You can't just have like 4K. It's like on Amazon they call it a UHD Ultra 4K, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, so it's part of that deal that's in Amazon. So yeah. And it does. It looks fantastic.
I mean, it looks good on my 11-year-old regular 42-inch screen. I don't even have 4K.
I'm telling you, once you get 4K.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I got my 4K TV. I don't know if I told you how much it was. I think it was like just over $600, and it's one of the like better rated Vizio 4K TVs.
Is it a 50-inch? 50-inch?
65.
Oh man.
I got a crazy sale on the market because that TV goes for like $800 some, right?
Yeah. Even at $800, that's still. I mean,
it's still really good. Walmart had it $100 below everybody, right? So I go down to my local Walmart here to get it. I'm like, screw it. I'm finally getting one. It was like $6.99 or something like that, and that was already $100 cheaper than everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I was gonna, and they were out. So he goes, no, we're just out. He goes, let me call another Walmart and see if they have it. You know what I'm saying? So he did. Long story short, they had their last one marked down even farther than that Walmart had.
Like a display discount, that type of thing?
No, it wasn't even open box. It was just their last one, so they marked it down. Apparently, that Walmart sells so much volume that manager has the discretion to do that. So he did. He marked it down another $100.
Jeez.
So that left it at like $600. So I ran down there and got that TV, man. It was like
that's but yeah, that was an amazing quality even on my non-HD TV. It was like they paid a lot of money. It was well photographed. Well,
when that's why I got the Xbox, because I needed something to see the 4K. You know what I'm saying? Now the TV has its own. It's a smart TV, so it has its own apps that are in 4K as well.
Yeah.
But they don't load quite as well. So
yeah. We have the Fire Stick, which is not 4K, but we didn't get it because our TV doesn't display 4K.
Right.
So we get it. Our TV is 11 years old, so I'll probably get one in the next year or two, and it'll be by then it'll probably be like 28K.
Yeah, it'll be 500K by then. And but I swear, Mark, when you get 4K, you're gonna end up watching stuff you don't even like. You know what I'm saying?
Just because it's in 4K.
Just because there's so much detail, it's insane. You're just
no, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, it's amazing how much. The show is high quality. But yeah, they were talking about like this was F3. Formula 3, and they're talking to Formula 1. You need at least $100 million just to get in the game, and $200 million if you want to be competitive. It's just amazing. The technology is insane in these things. Ooh, I really like this one. This is a neat one from Jose. I like this.
Oh, I love this photo, man.
Yeah, this is very, very nice. And I wonder if he put the rose in there. I don't know. Founded June 12, 1798.
Man, it's a great photo, man.
Yeah, that's a very nice image.
The shadows are perfect, man. The clouds, you couldn't have photoshopped them back there any better. That's awesome, man. The detail in there.
With the rose, he put the rose. I don't know if that was in there or if he put that in, but
that's a nice touch.
Yeah, that is very nice.
I love that photograph.
That's Sony A3. I think is that what he has, right? Yeah. Nice camera. He's getting some great images out of that. He's got some nice lenses.
Now you sound like every other person that sees you with a nice camera. Oh yeah, see, yep, I got to get that camera.
Yeah.
That thing. And I have to tell Jose that I would love to see that in black and white, of course.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Amazing in black and white.
Yeah, I think that would be. Yeah, because there's such a range from light to dark. I mean, you got total, nice total white to total dark there. Yeah, and the texture in here. Yeah, that would be excellent. So there you go, Jose. We need the black and white version. What would it look like in black and white? Now this one, this has to be color.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, they got the Angus burger at McDonald's. Maestro Angus by McDonald's.
But where's Michael at?
He's in the Netherlands.
Germany.
He's in the Netherlands.
Oh, he's in the Netherlands? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. In North Brabant, Netherlands.
Look at that bun. That looks like a good burger.
Yeah, that looks very good.
What is that on there? Is that a pickle right there just above the meat?
I think it is.
It looks like pickle and then maybe some bacon.
It looks
some
like
fresh
bacon or something. Yeah.
romaine lettuce. You've got red onion.
Yep. Red onion. Maybe that's no, it looks like bacon or something.
Yeah, it's some sort of bacon. Yeah, more towards the Canadian bacon style.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. Looks like you got some ketchup.
Uh-huh.
And
patties. Yeah, I mean, actually, that looks like a very good burger.
McDonald's actually in certain locations this week, I think, started using fresh meat.
Yeah, Atlanta was one of the markets. They started on like Wednesday or Thursday of last week. So
Yeah.
I'm actually going to stop by. I haven't been to McDonald's in a few months, but I'm going to stop by and try out, like a quarter pounder or something. And
it is the quarter. I think the quarter pounder is the burger. Like it's only, I think it's only the quarter pounder, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, I heard that on CNB. I was watching, the business news channel or whatever, and they're saying, McDonald's is rolling out, fresh beef at 3 or 4 markets, and Atlanta was one of them. So I'm like, okay, I'll have to go to McDonald's and do that, because it's that tells you a little bit that they're feeling a little bit of impact from other burger places.
Oh,
and it's becoming an issue for them if they're starting to do that. So
they're going back to their roots when they used fresh meat. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. Yep. Back in the day when they used fresh meat. Fresh meat.
I think it's
I like that.
I forgot all about that.
It's a good shot. So some good shots, good images. Now I've got to go to McDonald's this week and try a burger.
With an original, you have to get a Coke.
Okay, I will.
When I go to McDonald's now, I get a Coke. I told you my whole thing with the McDonald's Coke.
Yep.
And especially being in Atlanta. Atlanta's got to be like you can't get Coke any fresher than that.
You would think, yeah. You would think.
You would think, right? Like
I do know when we lived in Chicago, my office was right next to McDonald's headquarters. And they had a McDonald's right there. So it was like the premier flagship store for all McDonald land.
Right.
And they had all the new stuff that they were doing.
Yeah.
And you knew that was probably the best McDonald's you're going to get.
Yeah.
It was like literally right outside the campus for McDonald's.
Yeah. So the only other McDonald's that might be any better would be a McDonald's where they test everything. Like that's their test kitchen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Because when you're in LA, it's not just something to go have In and Out. When you're in LA, of course, we have In and Out Burger here too in Phoenix.
Yeah.
But you've got to go to the In and Out University, where they actually teach them how to.
Yeah, where they teach all the franchise, all the store owners, and everybody how to do In and Out the right way. Yeah. That's and they had the same thing in Chicago. They had McDonald's University, where all the franchise and store owners would go and have to, get indoctrinated into how to do McDonald's the right way.
So that's you gotta
to do what you need to do to make sure McDonald's is McDonald's.
Yeah, because we gotta have our fake meat burgers in a specific way.
Gotta be the exact fake meat burger, no matter where you go to McDonald's.
No matter where are you having? Yes.
Oh, yeah. A good one. Good show, guys. Really, I'm glad you were able to join in. No, it's only like 11:30. It's not even. It's still Sunday for
Time to go
you.
with
So.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Take Charlie.
Do you have to take Charlie for his walk?
Oh, look at this, Mark.
Back to McDonald's. Sorry, Joe. Back to McDonald's. Here we had not so long ago. They did a promotional video about the Big Mac original since 1968, where they painted the building totally black and white, the interior, and then makeup the employees, total black and white.
Huh.
And you would open the box and it would say Big Mac original since 1968.
Wow.
Huh. That's cool. That's a marketing to sell. Well, I guess a 50-year anniversary. The 50-year anniversary of the Big Mac this year.
Yeah. There's the link on the group chat if you check it out.
Oh, okay. Cool. The YouTube one. Okay. I will take a look at that. Let's take a look right now, actually. We can watch this. Maybe. Let's share it. Share. There we go. Mac. Oh, wow. That's interesting, cool, huh?
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
Especially if that'd be weird. Especially if the people are in black and white too. That'd be.
Oh. Yeah. That's cool. 50 years of the Big Mac.
That is cool.
Yeah. That's interesting. Huh.
That's very creative, man.
And how long did they do that? Really, was it just for a few days, or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see that.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a very, very, very innovative marketing to do that. But yeah, it is a 50 years. Wow, 50 years of the Big Mac. Wow. Okay, well, maybe now it's going to be fresh meat now. We're going to get the Big Mac with fresh meat, finally. Just like it had back in 1968. I am. Oh, and Joe, I've got on Saturday for Share Beer, I'm gonna have craft beef with craft beer.
Really? So you've got your own butcher or something that you got some?
No,
beef?
There's a site called Crowd Cow, where you can buy shares of like locally sourced beef from all over the country. And I bought some from a ranch in Virginia where they're grass fed, but then they finish like they finish them off with the spent grains from breweries.
Oh.
So they're supposed to, the meat is supposed to have like that sweet malty kind of flavor to it. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that will be interesting. Yeah.
So I got the box, I got the shipment, the order showed up last week. Yeah. So I've got some burgers. I'm going to make some burgers on.
Since we have Marie here, I have had Superbock now since the first time. I've had it a couple times now, and it's always refreshing. I mean, I'm not going to write home to mama about it, but it's like always been pleasant. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a good, clean, refreshing beer,
Good beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried the stout?
The what?
Superbock stout.
Oh, the stout? Yeah. Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah. What do you think?
I thought it was pretty good as well. Yeah, not nothing super crazy, but still pretty good. Yeah, they've been stocking at that particular Total Wine. They make a real effort to have just a ton of different countries' beers.
Yeah, I still don't see Superbock at my Total Wine. I went there like a week and a half ago, and I looked and I didn't see it. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I guess I just have to show up in Lisbon and go for a bike and get Superbike at the source with some snails.
Right? Yeah, I can get a lot of the. I've been watching, even though I probably won't do it, Mark, but I've been watching a lot of smoking videos, as in smoking meat videos.
Okay. Yep.
Smokers, as in barbecue smokers.
Yep.
God, you still have to kind of do a lot of that. But I guess this one guy, he's been using what they call a barrel smoker.
Okay. Yep. It's basically out of a barrel, 55-gallon drum or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of deal. Of course, it's all this one's particularly designed this way. But he can smoke. I forget how big that one brisket was, but it was huge, and he smoked that whole thing. I mean, it was huge, and he smoked that thing in like 4.5 hours, man. And, he was some guy out of Oklahoma.
You want to talk about a hobby or passion that people get obsessed? Oh yeah, they get barbecue and smoking meat and all that. Yeah, people are real hardcore serious about that. I mean,
that's an expensive hobby, because now it used to be, okay, you had a grill and maybe a smoker. These cats are lining up like 4 or 5 or 6 of these damn things now, and they cost thousands of dollars. Like not just
it's crazy. But yeah, it's so good when you get you get a nice cut of meat and you get it, you smoke it over the right kind of wood and it's delicious. But yeah, the equipment can get fairly expensive. It's just like anything. How much you want to get into it?
Yeah, and then it kind of just keeps going too. Like, but it's very that hobby is very rewarding, right? Because okay, now you've spent, I don't know, let's call it $2,000 to $5,000 on your smoker. So you've got that cost is done. You're done with that cost. Like you don't necessarily have to buy another camera body. That's it. Like you're done.
Yeah.
So that expense ain't too bad. Charcoal, if most of these things are charcoal and a mixture of wood. So that's not too bad. The wood could get expensive. You might import it from somewhere else. The charcoal's not too bad. You can get charcoal for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is a bag, Mark? $10, $20?
Yeah, for good lump charcoal, you don't want to you wouldn't use like Kingsford. You'd use like a true lump charcoal, so it's not made out of compressed, like Kingsford. But a 20-pound bag of good charcoal is going to run you $20, but it'll last a long time.
Yeah. So that part, it's the meat. I mean, you're spending.
Meat is expensive. You get a good brisket. I mean, a good sized brisket's gonna run you $75.
Exactly, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the expensive part of that hobby.
Yeah.
That's
at least you get to enjoy it. You get to eat it.
Yeah. The problem though, unlike the photography, now I could equate smoking meat to film photography, because like you've got this constant like having to buy your solutions and all these different chemicals and having to buy film and processing is very equivalent to buying the meat, preparing the meat, and having the meat. The problem is your product disappears.
Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah, you will no longer have, unlike photography, you will have memories of it forever. Like, a real documented something. With the meat, it's gone. Like, that's it.
That is true. It's definitely disposable. It goes away.
It goes away. You're like, at least with photography, you've got something.
Yep.
That's
true. Yeah.
Like if you've spent enough money on cycling, you might win an award or something, right? But when you deal with meat, you don't want what's left over, right? Because that ends up in the sewage system, correct?
Exactly. That is and you hope that whatever you cook is 100% consumed, because that means it's good, but then you have nothing left. You don't have anything left to show for it. You know, yeah. No, but it's so you get good quality meat and you cook it right. I mean, yeah, nothing beats that. But speaking of, I'm not barbecuing. I've got a rack of ribs in the oven that's been in there for like 5 hours.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Baby back ribs. Yep, in the oven. It was rainy. I was going to cook them on the egg, but it's been kind of rainy today, so I put them in the oven. Put a nice rub and put them in the oven at like 2 o'clock. Yeah, so it's been in there for 5.5 hours.
It cooled off today. It's only 77. It was in the 80s last week.
Yeah, you guys were warm. Yeah, we were like 50, 55 or 60, but it's been kind of rainy the last couple of days. But all right, guys.
All right.
Good one. Really glad you can make it. Hopefully to see you more here as we get through the summer. And Joe, always a pleasure. So and really we're doing the it's at 7. That's going to kind of late, but we are doing the share beer on Saturday night. So it would start at 11 o'clock your time, really, on Saturday.
I'll try.
Saturday night, yeah. You know, if you're coming back from the pub and you're full of snails and you just want talk about one more beer, you can pop in.
Yeah. Give us the report on the latest Superbock.
Yep, Superbock and snail combo. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one. All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Cheers.